Right, next bit we're going to talk about records. So you haven't used records before. I intentionally leave it out of IPT until you've done databases, because this is how you do databases in Pascal. So you will be familiar with things like tables and fields from last time. So you had like the student's table and stud code and surname and given name. This is exactly the same thing. So if you just want to put your database brains in for a little bit, this should hopefully, I know some of you may have taken it out. Hopefully it will come back. It'll be like something that extracts, like sometimes you smell something and you get a memory from something. Okay, the idea of this is fairly simple. Is rather than just have a variable that sits there by itself like name or age or income, we can group people and create a table that has a row that has information about their name, their age and their income. So this thing here is where we do it. So type is Pascal word, person structure here is the actual, sort of like our table name, if you want to think of it in that sense. So that's the structure of our table. So you know when you went into Access and you created a table, you would go and put things like given name and surname and all of those things. That's what this is doing, so making the structure of it. Okay, and we put the word record on the end. Again, you don't need to worry about the syntax because you can just go here and pinch it. Okay, our little table is going to record the name, age and income of somebody. So rather than have an age and a name that's got nothing to do with each other, we'll be able to say that this particular person, these are their details that line up. Okay, so there's your structure. Don't forget your end on there. So we're simply making something that looks a little like this. Draw, you stupid pen. You wrecked the video. Stuff you. Okay, we come down to our variables. This thing here becomes our table name. Okay, so if you think of things like students and studies and all that type of stuff, that's the name of your table. It is one of these things. So you know how we usually have something like name is a string, this thing is an integer, this thing is a real. We're just saying that people actually has three parts to it. So it's got a string, an integer and a real. So we've got three parts. So if you imagine your little box has got three distinct areas in it now. Okay. Getting the details is very simple. So you will have done this a million times, or probably not a million, that's an exaggeration, a lot. And you'll get to the stage where you'll say, please enter a name, and we would usually just put read line name. But name doesn't actually exist as a variable anymore because it's people.name. So this is the name of my table, and that's the name of the particular part of that table that I'm recording. Same thing here, the age, we normally just put read line age, but go into the people section and put it in the age box. Okay? So imagine my shoebox analogy. I've got a shoebox called people and it's got subsections called name, age and income. We fill them up with stuff and then to display it we simply put people.name. So name doesn't exist by itself anymore. It's got to be attached to its table or its structure or its record is the technical word for it. And again, we treat it exactly the same as any other variable. So when you want to format your real, which is your income, you put the :4:2 on it, those type of things. If we go and have a run of that, I'll just pinch that. Okay, to you, you won't notice any difference. So enter your name, Lachlan. Lachlan's 17 and he earns a few dollars and it records that stuff for us. Okay, so the variable is just stored slightly differently. It's not something that the user would ever see. So if we did one that was just enter your name, age and your income, that's one of the first lessons we would have done, it would look exactly like that. So just the way we're recording it has changed fractionally. Okay, he had a reasonable year for a Year 12 student. Okay, questions, gentlemen? So once you get the idea of it, how will yours look for your assignment? What structure will you have? Yeah, so for each of your rectangles, you need 4 points, don't you? So you'll have something like type rectangle structure or rectangle thing or rectangle whatever. And then you'll have x1 is an integer, x2 is x1, y1, x2, y2. So you're making a record that records 4 numbers. What we're going to do with those 4 numbers is read it out of the file. Okay, so I've shown you how to read data from the file. You there get that stuff, and our final step is to make an array of these things. Okay, and that is our next episode. So any other questions? Righto.